Age as a factor for being still. Fun facts to consider. Puppies and elderly doggies need more breaks. Adult doodles still need breaks. Doodle care providers, let it be doodle moms, dads, or professionals, still need breaks. Training is super important. I think it's pretty popular misconception that your doodle or any doodle needs to be socialized and trained to get groomed at the groomer. It's absolutely not true. The majority of work happens at home and at a breeder, so the doodle can get used to the grooming steps in smaller portions. So it's a shared responsibility between the breeder, the doodle parents, and the groomer, and probably the trainer as well, to get the doggy comfortable around grooming. So basically, doodles don't just magically get used to grooming. Bringing your puppy to the groomer will help get used to grooming steps, but he or she needs to learn the basics at the breeder and at home with you or with the help of a trainer. Oftentimes, doodles, since they are so high energy level ones, and we as sometimes even care providers, but mostly moms and dads, are having hard times catching up with their energy level, and we need to learn how to act behavior on them and how to handle them. And the handling means not a hands-on training, but a hands-off training. So we are giving requests. Old name for them is commands. I don't really like it. It's based on doing to, and I prefer working with method. So whenever we are giving requests, it's fun to teach the doggy to respond to those. So for example, how to keep your doodle still after satisfying a few needs like exercise and for the body and for the mind, and so on. So it's a shared responsibility between the breeder, the doodle moms and dads, the groomer, and the trainer. Puppies have limited span for focus, so exposing them to a face feed fanny package as a start is a great way to keep them comfy and avoid being overwhelmed. I oftentimes get the question, how often should I get my doggy groomed, or when is the first time you suggest to get a doggy a haircut? A full haircut takes for quite a while, so the first thing I like to suggest is a face, feed, and fanny trim. Now it can happen at home, at a vet, at a groomer. Most likely it's going to happen at the groomer, or in case you are a savvy doodle mom or dad, you can learn to do it yourself and don't have to worry about the risk of exposing your doggy to new environments before they would finish all the puppy shots. So first, I suggest a face, feed, and fanny trim because the doggy is most likely does not need a full body trim. The doggy has limited amount of focus and patience to deal with a new and strange environments and with close contact with a totally new person. So we really need to keep those two in mind. And we also need to make sure that the doggy will be able to see and they can get a good grip on the ground, and they're not going to scratch themselves nor us with their long nails, and nor will break the nails and hurt themselves. So keeping all those in mind, the face, feed, and fanny is the way to go for the first grooming experience. When the doodle's coat is matted, but it is brushable, oftentimes the spa day needs to be split up to dematting and later the rest of the to-dos on another day, because the doggy's patience is limited, so they're not going to be able to deal with a 2 hour or an hour and a half brush out and detangling and dematting, and another face, feed, and fanny and full body trim and bath and blow dry another 2.5 hours after that for tricky cases. So we need to think about the age as a factor there and what the doggy is capable of, how long they can stay comfy for getting the haircut, let it be just a quick brush out or a full haircut, whatnot. We really need to keep in mind all the circumstances. And that's why I highly recommend to get a consultation with your groomer about your doodle's coat in case you are new to the area, you are just looking for a new groomer for your puppy or adult dog, because getting to the root of what your doggy really needs and what they can handle, you two can make plans how you can keep your doodle comfortable and get the grooming steps they need. Clear observation is a key to be able to figure out an action plan for your doodle's needs. Try to avoid labeling like lazy, wiggly, aggressive, and list and analyze the cues your doodle is telling you with body language, sounds, his or her breathing, and so on. Whenever we try to determine what our doggy can do, along with the age, I wanted to mention these few things because oftentimes whenever doggies are getting a little bit tired of what they are experiencing, they're gonna tell us cues like, hey, I'm not really into any more of this, whatever that is happening to them. So keeping in mind the early or sometimes even late sensitivity signs, instead of labeling them as lazy, wiggly, or aggressive, whatever we try to use, I highly recommend you changing those to what does my doggy do when I do this, or when they see this, or when they hear this. So keeping all that in mind will help you to come up with an action plan so your doggy can stay comfortable, so can you, and you still are going to be able to get the grooming steps done.